Good day everyone, this is Francis Dale Pansoy and I will be tackling about DPWH Blue Book item 610 through 612. So let's start. So item 610 is sodding. So by definition, this item shall consist of furnishing and laying of live sod on the shoulders, slopes, ditches, or other locations as designated, construction of sod ditch checks, or similar appurtenances as shown on the plans or as ordered and laid out in the field by the engineer, all in accordance with this specification. So the material requirements for sodding, so the sod shall consist of healthy, dense, well-rooted growth of permanent and desirable grasses indigenous to the general locality where it is to be used, and shall be free from weeds or undesirable grasses. At the time the sod is cut, the grass is on the sod shall have a length of approximately 50 mm. So that's the approximation length of the grass on the sod. And then the sod shall be cut into uniform squares approximately 300 mm by 300 mm but not larger than is convenient for handling and transporting. So this is an example picture of a sod. So these are rolled sods, but on the code or on the blue book, it stated that the sod shall be approximately 300 mm by 300 mm. So the picture is just an example. The thickness of the sod shall be uniform as possible, approximately 40 mm. So 300 by 300 with a thickness of 40 mm. So next, construction requirements for sodding. Under 3.1, we have the preparation of the earth bed. So the area to be sodded shall be constructed to the required cross-section and contour, and the tops and bottoms of the slopes shall be rounded as shown in the typical roadway sections. Next is placing the sod. So the earth bed upon which the sod is to be placed shall be moistened to the loosened depth, if not naturally sufficiently moist, and the sod shall be placed thereon within 24 hours after the same has been cut. After placing the sod, we have to be staking the sod. So in staking the sod, on all slopes steeper than 1 vertical to 4 horizontals, so 1V to 4H, sod shall be pegged with stakes 200 to 300 mm in length, spaced as required by nature of the soil and steepness of slope. So stakes shall be driven into the sod at right angles to the slope until flush with the bottom of the grass plates. So next is under 3.4, top dressing. So top dressing is after staking has been completed, the surface shall be cleared of loose sod, excess soil or other foreign materials, whereupon a thin layer of topsoil shall be scattered over the sod as a top dressing, and the areas shall then be thoroughly moistened by sprinkling with water. Then next is the watering. The contractor shall regularly water and maintain sodded areas in a satisfactory condition for the duration of the contract and until final acceptance of the work by the engineer. So those are the construction requirements. Next is the method of measurement. So that is 610.4. So sodding shall be measured by the square meter, and the quantity to be measured for payment shall be the actual number of square meters of area on which a sod has been placed in accordance with the specification and within the limits of construction as designated on the plans or as ordered by the engineer. So the basis of payment, the quantity of as determined in subsection 610.4, method of measurement shall be paid for at a contract unit price per square meter. For sodding, which price payment shall be full compensation for preparing the earth bed, for furnishing, placing, staking, top dressing, and watering the sod, and for all labor, equipment, tools, and incidentals necessary to complete the item. This means that the payment for the sod is including all the materials and labors and procedures done. Then the payment item number is 610, description, sodding, and unit of measurement, square meter. So that's it of the sodding. Next is the item 611 or the tree planting. So by definition, 611.1, this item shall consist of furnishing and planting deciduous shade, flowering trees, and evergreen trees less than 150 mm in diameter on the areas and in the arrangements indicated on the plans or as indicated by the engineer, including the digging and the preparation of pocket holes, furnishing, and placing the necessary topsoil, mulch, water, fertilizer, and other incidentals necessary to complete the item. So this is basically self-explanatory. It's literally tree planting. So we'll move on to the 611.2, which is the material requirements. Under 2.1, we have the topsoil. Topsoil shall conform to the requirements of item 608. Item 608 is topsoil. So that's from the previous reporter. Next is 611.2.2, mulching. So mulching material shall consist of approved wood chips, ground or crushed corn cobs, wood shavings, sawdust, or peat moss. Wood chips shall be combination of wood slivers with ground wood or sawdust. So next one is the trees itself. All trees furnished under this item shall be 150 mm or less in diameter and shall be true to name and type and shall follow standard names of trees in accordance with the Bureau of Forestry standards as adopted by the DPWH. When specified in the provisions, certain varieties of plants will be furnished by the government. So, not all trees can be planted. So, as long as this tree is standard in the Bureau of Forestry standards and adopted by the DPWH, so it can be accepted. So next we'll proceed to 611.2, the construction methods. So the construction methods involves under 3.1 is balling of plants and trees. So balling is employed in plants and trees to be transplanted or transferred. To ball out the trees, the depth to which the root system reaches is first determined. Digging around the tree is then done, being careful not to cut many roots. Watering the soil before balling is prohibited. The surface of the earth is kept as smooth as possible. After the tree is dug out, the roots and earth is wrapped immediately with the sacking material. The tree could now be tipped over and rolled to a new location. These plants shall be hauled by the ball only and not by the plant itself. The slightest indication of manufactured earth balls or hauling of the plants itself will be a cause for rejection of such plants. So it is important to ball the uh, tree first or the plant first to ensure that it is not manufactured earth balls. Next is the digging plants. This is under 611.3.2. All plants, nursery grown or collected, shall be dug with care and skill immediately before shipping and avoiding all possible injuries to the plants, loss or damage of the roots, particular attention being given to fibrous roots in the respect. After the plants are dug, the roots shall not be permitted to dry out. They shall not be exposed to hot temperatures. All plants shall be dug in dormant state and shall be so held until planted. Next is temporary storage and plant spray. So this is actually step-by-step methods in the tree planting. So after the balling, then digging, then temporary storage and spraying the plants. Next one is the layout of planting, uh, where to plant the tree and etc. Roots and top pruning, pocket holes. Next is uh, backfill, and then we can proceed to the planting. So under planting, there is a uh, sub level, which is the tree planting along National Road 611.3.8.1. So the trees to be used for this purpose shall be the varieties, the root systems of which grow downward rather than sideward to avoid situations where the roots spread sideward and consequently destroy the road and sidewalk slabs. So the trees that will be planted along the national road shall be selected carefully. So these are the trees that the roots are downward growing, because if they are sideward growing, they have the tendency to destroy the roads, which will cause accidents in the future. So after planting, we have mulching. Within 24 hours after planting, mulching material shall be spread to cover the plant hole in the area 150 mm outside the periphery of the plant hole. The depth and application for wood chips shall be a minimum of 150 mm. For ground or crushed corn cobs, sawdust or peat moss, the minimum depth shall be 100 mm. After mulching, we have the watering and maintenance. Next is the bracing, and finally dead trees. Before completion and final acceptance of the project, all trees not healthy or that have died back onto the crown or beyond the normal pruning line shall be replaced by the contractor at his own expense with trees of the specified species or variety, size, and quality, and meeting the specification. So it won't be uh, it won't be normal for a project not to have dead trees or reject trees. So this shall be replaced by the contractor himself with trees of specified species meeting the specification of the Blue Book. So next one is the method of measurement. So the method of measurement, the quantity to be paid for shall be the number of trees of each species or variety called for in the plants furnished, planted, and accepted with the necessary mulch, topsoil, water, fertilizer, and other incidentals to complete the item. So this is just the same as the sod. So all the payment is for not just the tree but also the labor done, especially the maintenance one. And the basis of payment, so the payment number is 610. Uh, the basis of payment is Pay item number 611, description tree planting, and unit of measurement square meter. So let's proceed to 612. The 612 is about reflective thermoplastic stripping materials, solid form. So by definition, this standard specifies the requirement for reflectorized thermoplastic pavement stripping material conforming to AASHTO M249 that is applied to the road surface in a molten state by mechanical means with surface application of glass beads at a rate of not less than 350 G per L of glass beads having a size range of drop-in type and will produce an inherent reflectorized stripe of specified thickness and width capable of resisting deformation by traffic. So this is an example. Thermoplastics are applied utilizing heat. As the material cools, it maintains its shape or line size. Glass beads are added for reflectivity. So these are what we see at night, especially for riders and observant commuters. So they see these reflecting lines. They are not electrical units, but they are uh, just reflecting due to glass beads that are added to them. So this is a retroreflective white line compared to non-retroreflective black line. So during at night, it won't reflect when light is being struck upon it. So the material requirements for item 612. So first is reflectorized thermoplastic pavement material. So it shall be homogeneously composed of pigment, filler, resins, and glass reflectorizing spheres. So the thermoplastic material shall be available to both white and yellow. So next is glass beads for the reflectivity. Shall be uncoated and shall comply with the following requirements. So the refractive index minimum is 1.5 and the spheres percent minimum is 90. So next one is the general requirements for the item 612. So for the composition, the pigment, beads, and filler shall be uniformly dispersed in the resin. The material shall be free from all skins, dirt, and foreign objects, and shall comply with the requirements as specified in Table 612.1. So I will show the table later. Qualitative, uh, the material shall conform to the qualitative requirements as specified in the 612.2. So for the 612 Table 612.1, so these are the composition requirements. The binder minimum for yellow and white is the same, 18. So the glass beads minimum is 30 and 40 maximum for both white and yellow. Titanium dioxide is 10 for white and not applicable for yellow. Chrome yellow medium minimum is 10, not available for white. And calcium carbonate and inert fillers maximum is 42 for both colors. And on table 612.2, the qualitative requirements, specific gravity maximum is 2.15, drying time is 10 minutes, bond strength to PCC after heating for 4 hours is 1.24 MPa, cracking resistance at low temp after heating for 4 hours again, uh, it should be no cracks. Impact resistance after heating for 4 hours should be 115 millimeter per kilogram. Softening point after heating is 102.5 with a tolerance of 9.5 degrees Celsius. Daylight reflectant at 45 degrees is 75 for white and 45 for yellow. So next one is the application properties. So for it is now 612.4. So under application properties, we have uh, four other applications or operations that are used or that are in process, which is the preparation of road surface. So we have to prepare for the road surface first before the preparation of thermoplastic materials, and then we can proceed to laying and then reuse of thermoplastic materials. So next is the 612.4.1. So it's still under the application properties. Defective materials or workmanship. Materials which are defective or have been applied in an unsatisfactory manner. So there are instances where uh, materials are not satisfactorily been applied properly. So these materials will then be removed. The road pavement shall be made good and materials replaced, reconstructed, and or properly located at all at the constructor's expenses and to the satisfaction of the engineer. Next is under 612.4.2, which is the protection of the traffic. So the contractor shall protect pedestrians, vehicles, and other traffic adjacent to the working area against damage or disfigurement by the construction equipment, tools, and materials, or by the spatters, splashes, and the smirches of paint or other construction materials during the course of the work. Provide and maintain adequate signs and signals for the warning and guidance for traffic. So when the application of the reflective thermoplastic stripping materials is ongoing, there should be adequate signs and signals of for warning and guidance of the traffic to avoid spatters, splashes, and smirches, etc., etc. So next is sampling 6.612.5. A minimum weight of 10 kg of reflectorized thermoplastic paint shall be taken for every 100 bags or fraction thereof. So that is the sampling. The testing is the materials shall be tested in accordance with the AASHTO T250 or with the appropriate method in ASTM designation. Next is packing and marking. The material should be packaged in suitable containers to which it will not adhere during shipment and storage. So this is just securing the samples so that there will be uh, less expenses due to negligence of the materials. Next is the method of measurement. So the quantity of pavement markings to be paid for shall be the area as shown on the plans. So this means that the payment will be made uh, in accordance with the area of as shown in the plans of painted traffic line of the stated width in the area as shown on the plans of symbols, letterings, hatching, and the like, completed and accepted. And the basis of payment, so still the same, unit of measurement is square meter. Payment item number 612 number 1. This description is reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings, color white. And payment item number 612 number 2, reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings, yellow. So both are in unit of measurement square meter. So that's the end of my report. Thank you and have a good day.